Good morning, interwebs. It is 5:51 and I had not picked up the camera yet today. I got up, got around, and then this is a pile of things that are all going to the thrift store. I think there will be a little bit more added, but you know where those came from? They came from my craft room, which is very much a work in progress, but it's getting less and less work and more progress. Something like that. So, let's see. This is what it looks like right now. So I showed you the boxes. I figured out this is a chimney closet because at one point there was a stove with a chimney that ran through this room, and this is the closet, and there's the little hooks where my ancestors used to hang their like second set of clothes or whatever. Steve and I a couple years ago put these metal brackets along the edges and then put in these shelves, which had housed all of this these materials for homeschooling like the younger years, and I still need them, but I don't need them in this room because I've decided that this room is not going to be a classroom in any sense. So they are moving downstairs to the guest room where all the homeschool stuff is now stored, and yeah, that'll be much more useful. That clears up this closet for my craft supplies. So I have been trying to figure out the right way to store my serger thread, which is actually the thread I use for everything. I have, where'd it go? Here it is. This adapter, which you put the cone thread on. Thread runs up through this little eye hook and then through to your machine so that you can use the cones instead of those little spools of thread. Cone thread is cheaper, and since when I buy thread for my serger, you have to buy, what, 4 or 5 bobbins? I usually end up with 5. That I end up with all these open things of thread. So I use them for my regular sewing too with that adapter. So now my thread is in here. I spent a lot of my time, I don't know if you can tell or not, but these boxes are now organized. And I cleared out all the stuff down here, and that's a new box that's down there, and it's got some stuff stored in it. Took down my daughter's sewing machine. It's going to move downstairs and basically be stored unless we're using it. And then I'm going to move some of these things. This is painting supplies. Here we have stationery supplies for my card making. That's some beading stuff, sewing stuff, work in progress. There's card stuff, beading stuff, and then some of my wrapping supplies for my stuff that's for sale. So that stuff is all going to, I think actually a bunch of it's going to move into this closet now that I all of a sudden like had a light bulb moment. Like, whoa, why are you not storing things in there? So I'm going to. My sewing machine table has moved over here. This chair is not mine. It actually goes with this desk, both of which I'm about to move downstairs, but I realized that if I don't talk to you now, I might forget and the lighting would get bad. So my sewing machine is going to go here, and then I have some ideas of some things that I want to hang on the wall for storage purposes. And that should be good. And I've made so much progress. Look, you can see floor. And in just a minute here, this is all going to be gone. And there will be even more floor, which, I don't know. I don't need a huge amount of floor, but I need enough floor to get in here and work. And also it will give me space that the kids can come in here while I'm in here and not make me crazy, like cramped and mad at them. I also, while I was doing this, I was trying to finish listening to Wicked because my phone had downloaded what it claimed were 15 chapters and that was the entirety. Well, apparently there were actually 32 sections because it's written in parts, not chapters anyways. I don't know. But my digital library through the Kansas State Library card, yeah, you can get free audiobooks through that. And it's a free service through the state of Kansas, and I downloaded it and I was listening and I got to the end and it's like in the middle of like action and it just stops and I'm like, huh, that's kind of where I felt like it was kind of wrapping up, and then all of a sudden this thing happens and then it all goes away. So I did a little bit of research and realized that, oh, my phone apparently didn't like recognize all the chapters. So I returned it and rechecked it out, and now it's re-downloading, but I'm like, what happens? So yes, I'm listening to Wicked. I don't know. It's not what I was expecting. It was really hard to get into. The first part was just so slow, but it is picking up, I think. I won't know, I think, till I finish the book, because I think it's one of those books that kind of builds on itself. So maybe at the end I'll be like, oh, or maybe I'll just be like, why did you waste my time with all of that? I don't know. So I'm going to move a few more of these things, go do a little bit of picking up in the kitchen. I made some tenderized beef, what are they called? Tenderized beef something steaks. I don't remember what cut they are, but they were good. I fried them in my skillet with some butter, and then I like breaded them. Fried them in the skillet with butter, put them in the oven with water on them, make a gravy, and then got them out. We had that and the gravy over rice for lunch today. I also made some fruit smoothies, and they were so good because it got hot here. Last night I slept with my window open, and that was just crazy. So I had the fan in here, but this room's always warm, like even during the winter. It just gets kind of hot in here. So anyways, I'm going to go pick up, and then I have a meeting tonight. So I will catch up with you all in a while. It is 4:02, and I am headed to bed here shortly. So I went to my meeting. Well, first I made dinner. We had muffin tins because, well, it's Monday, so we had muffin tins. And then I went to my meeting, and I was there for like an hour, hour and a half, and I came home. And then I went back up to my craft room, and let's see, I got home at like 8:45, and then for the next like 45 minutes to an hour, I cleaned up some more in the craft room and made huge progress. The kids helped me, and were hanging out with me, and there's enough room that all four of us can be in there now, which is good. And that's not even with everything put away. When the floor is completely cleared off, it will be a much more pleasant experience. So in doing that, I found some things that I needed to reclaim yarn from, because I always say good yarn does not belong in bad projects. I had made a bunch of hats before. I think I've had them for like a year and a half now, I think, if I'm trying to remember when I made them. But for a craft show I had coming up, I had a bunch of woolies that I had gotten on a good sale, and I needed some hats for my booth, I felt like, so I just whipped up these hats from a pattern from the Lion Brand website. I was getting their gauge, but I hated the hats. Like, they were very awkwardly shaped. I just wasn't happy with them, and so I didn't take them to a lot of my craft shows anyways, because most of my shows are in the summer, and in the summer I just don't even bother bringing like the warm stuff because it never sells. If people are interested in it, they can contact me after the fact. But it never sells, and it's just too stinking hot here in Kansas in the middle of the summer. People don't want to look at a fuzzy wool hat. It just doesn't happen. So I don't take it to a bunch of the shows. They don't get, you know, a lot of attention. And because I was unhappy with the result, I don't try to like sell them. Like, even when I'm sitting at my booth, like, they don't go in the very front. It's like I'm like pushing them out the door because I'm not proud of them. And because of that, they qualify under my good yarn, bad project. So I reclaimed that yarn, and here is the results of that endeavor. I talked to my parents on the phone for a long time and got their verbal comment section on the vlog because my mom and dad are watching. Hi, Mom and Dad. So they are, they're watching, and they have thoughts on what's going on in the vlogs, but they are kind enough not to put it in the comment section down below for the rest of the world to see. They just share it with me on the phone. It's an interesting thing because they probably, I mean, clearly the vlogs cover different things than I would necessarily tell them or talk about on the phone if, like, I talk to them every day. And just generally, like, the topics I cover, I talk about things that I am interested in and the things that I think that the majority of my viewers are interested in, which is not necessarily the thing that my parents are interested in. So, you know, like how when you're talking to a particular group of people, you talk about certain things. So that is interesting. So clearly they hear more about the things I'm interested in than they ordinarily would, because I would not bore them. Mostly because then they just start to glaze over and look like they don't care. So I, you know, usually stay to topics that are more neutral and everybody enjoys. Also, I mean, I don't cover a lot of the personal information about my family and, like, that sort of stuff, so they don't see that. But they do get to hear about our daily goings on, and since they do know me personally, they can fill in a lot of the blanks that some of you might not even realize become blanks. And it doesn't necessarily take away from the grand story of my life, but, you know, as my parents, those little bits and pieces are important. So it is interesting talking to them about it because, like I said, they hear about topics that I ordinarily would not focus on when I'm talking to them. They also probably get a better sense of my, like, feelings on some topics, that if I were to be discussing with them in person or on the phone or whatever, I would probably handle in a different manner or just avoid because it would be awkward and whatever. So yeah, it's just kind of weird. And I am now, like, much more aware that people that I know are watching this, which I try not to, like, censor myself because of that, but I don't know. It does come into play a bit sometimes. And then I have to go, Kendra, stop it! If, like, that's their choice. If people are gonna watch who know me and don't like what I have to say, they can either be mad at me about it, or they can turn off the vlog and pretend it doesn't exist. Those are kind of your options. So anyways, I talked to my parents. Oh, and by the way, they are both doing very well and very healthy, and they sounded very good. So, yay for that. Because, you know, that had been a worry and is, you know, just continually a worry. But they seem to be at a good place. And that puts me at a better place. Because I'm worn out and tired because I spent the whole day locked in my craft room and it didn't involve any crafting. But I was good. I was focused and I'm trying to get it to a good place. My dad was making fun of me because my grandma used to just have that room, like, floor to ceiling full of random and assorted decades of crap. Like, it just, like, every box she ever received an item in went in that room. There was old stuff. There was stuff she didn't like. So rather than, like, get rid of it or return it or throw it away or whatever, it went in the storeroom. I don't know if any of you remember this, I had actually reset up my craft room in a way that I thought was good and, like, I enjoyed and I was happy about. And then I had to bring all my stuff back from my retail space and it all just got piled in that room because that room had a door that I could close and not have to look at it. So a year later, well, like, less than a year. It's been like 8 or 9 months. But since then, I decided I needed to deal with it, and I am. So there is, like I said, that gigantic pile of stuff. I think I have 2 garbage bags going out, so that's good too. Just being real with what I'm going to use, and if I'm not going to use it, it's better off going to somebody who is or in the trash, rather than just being trash inside my house. So, did that. There'll probably be more of me yammering on about my craft room for the next couple of days while I continue to get that sorted, because I really want to work on some of these things like my sewing, but I need the space to sew in before I can do that. Tonight I also finished listening to Missing Richard Simmons on Stitcher, and I listened to Pop Culture Happy Hour, because again, podcasts are just, sometimes they're making me happier. Still feeling a little spinny. It's kind of come and gone today, but I'm trying to stay on top of it, and I'm trying to pretend that moving all this stuff around is kind of like moving furniture, because that seems to make me happy too, which was kind of interesting. Let's see. So Steve and I, when we were looking at those vital needs, there is a vital need. Let's see. It's one of the ones that we thought was like me. Let's see. Come on, there's only 22 of them. Where is, number 18, variety of experiences. The need for something new and different, high need for change in surroundings, job descriptions, or projects. And I was kind of like, that doesn't really describe me at first. And Steve was like, no, it doesn't, because I don't deal well with sudden change. I have a really hard time adjusting. I like to know what's coming. I like to be in control. That's all very Kendra. But then when it says ideas, rearrange the furniture, wear many hats in your job, change jobs, take trips, or take a class and learn a new skill. What do? I move furniture for fun. Again, ask my parents. They would come in randomly and I would be like pushing my bed across the room. Why? It just seemed like it needed to happen. And by seemed like it needed to happen or I was going to go crazy. So I would spend like a weekend just completely gutting my room and turning things around. And I still do that. Have you seen my house? Yeah. We're still in that gutting and moving process, but it's getting better. Wearing many hats in your job. Every job I have starts as one thing, and then I just gain more and more, not necessarily even responsibility, but more and more things that it becomes apparent that I am capable of doing for said job, and then I do them. And then at some point, I tend to feel underappreciated for it, or whatever, and then it becomes a problem. The other thing, take trips. Okay, now taking trips, not a big thing. I don't like the planning for the trips. I mean, I'm okay with the going, but even that, like the social part, there's a lot of anxiety involved with taking trips. I don't really agree with that one. Taking a class, again, so I found some fabric at Walmart. Was it Walmart? No. Yes. It was like blue plaid with cherries on it, and I really, really like it. I told Steve it would make an awesome looking dress for me, like a full, like, I don't know, mid-calf length dress. And I really want to make one. And I was like, I've made a couple dresses. Well, we'll see if they come out. I don't know if I still fit in the one that I made for my brother-in-law's wedding, but I've made clothes for myself. To varying degrees of success. And so I was telling Steve I want to make a dress. I'm like, and maybe I could like get a craftsy class, and then I could make something that was like a higher skill of sewing, and that would be cool. And he goes, hey, or you could like try and go to the place you bought your sewing machine and take a class there. And I said, yes, except there would be people at this class, and I'd much rather stay at home. And he goes, yep, you were correct. Maybe you should look for a craftsy class. And learning a new skill. Obviously, I am always jumping from thing to thing and skill to skill, even within the little kind of ruts that I have become a part of. So yes, apparently, suddenly we focused on vital need number 18, one of Kendra's vital needs. Maybe at some point I will tell you the other 6 or 8 that are still on the list. Maybe that would be a fun thing to do. Maybe we will. So, that was that. This is going to be a very long vlog, but hey, most of it involves looking at my fun craft stuff, which from what I understand, y'all enjoy. So, I will see you all tomorrow. Nighty night.